there wasn't that much information, but then more information came out, and then you even texted me about it, and I was like, all right, let's see what's going on. And it was the Christian Wilkins situation.
Yeah.
So Christian Wilkins, defensive lineman, formerly a Raider.
Yeah.
He gets cut, and at first, when I saw the reports, the way that I interpreted, I quickly glanced over it. The way I interpreted it was he didn't handle rehab correctly, which led to him needing a second surgery.
Yeah.
But it was rehab went fine. He refused. He doesn't want to get a second surgery. You get surgery, you're gonna be out. The more you get another surgery, you're gonna be out longer.
Yeah.
They said rehab went fine. It went well. He did everything correctly that he needed to do. But it's just he's still hurt, and he refused to get a second surgery.
They also voided his entire contract of guaranteed money.
Well, they try to attempt. They're attempting to void. Right now, he's filing grievance. For the NFLPA.
When there's guaranteed money on the line, like you have to have a real reason to cut somebody.
Yeah,
I guess this is one of those real reasons, but now they have to prove that he requires a second surgery to play football. But then other stuff came out, and one of those guys, one of the Raiders said he needed therapy or whatever.
So is this the same Raider who went to HR?
Yeah, I think so. Well, I don't know. One of them was asked about him, and he said he needs therapy.
Okay, cool, awesome. Here's the thing: a report came out that he kissed a teammate on the head, and then they went to HR. They went to HR about it.
Tried to kiss a dude on the head.
And then more clips surfaced of him doing fruity weird stuff on the field. And all right.
I'm not defending him kissing people.
No. Okay, here's the thing. I know people like that. I know people I know guys who think it's funny to be touchy and I wasn't even gonna say you, but no. I'm talking especially a locker room is just a different environment, period.
Yeah.
And we're talking about the NFL HR, fucking HR report. But I'm saying, regardless, no. I'm saying this is not your typical job. This is a job that involves the locker room environment,
guys being
a brotherhood commodity. It's just it's camaraderie. Thank you. It's a different type of job. If it's an office job and Greg's going around trying to kiss everybody on the head, it's like, hey, you going to lunch, and then he's trying to kiss him. It's like, okay, I get it. That's why there's an HR department. But you're never going to convince me, out of all 32 teams, especially, the Raiders gave a fuck about an HR complaint?
For real. Well, I think they gave a fuck because we know the Raiders.
Okay.
They give a fuck because it's this way.
I don't think anything he did is the reason he got cut. I think they definitely used this whole injury thing or whatnot. And now, regardless,
but when have you seen someone get cut because of this clause?
That's a good question. There's probably an answer to that.
There's probably a few, but if I'm not mistaken, he's still in football shape, or was.
I think the issue, I don't know if this would be an issue if they weren't trying to void his $1 million, his 35 guaranteed.
Yeah, that's why it is an issue.
If they gave him his 35 mil, because I don't think they need to have a clear reason as to why they cut him. If they gave him that 35 mil, I don't think he'd care.
No, they can cut anyone they want, but if there's guaranteed money, they have to pay the guaranteed money. But they're trying to find a way to not have to pay him guaranteed money.
Yeah, you know why? Because the Raiders are grimy little fuckers who overpaid Max. No, I'm not gonna say okay. They overpaid Max Crosby because at the end of the day, we went over this whole pass rushers getting paid crazy money thing. Yeah. They overpaid him. They really overpaid Geno, And then they overpaid. Let's be real. Go look at the numbers. Go look at the tape. Whatever you want to look at for Christian Wilkins. He was cool in Miami. Yeah. He wasn't 110 over 4 years, $35 million guaranteed cool in Miami. That's not cool. That's very good in Miami.
That's incredible.
That's not like he never even hit double-digit sacks, and we're over here talking about 110 over 4. No. The Raiders fucked up. They fucked up with paying him. They overpaid Geno, and they went, well, we're not cut. We can't get rid of Geno. We're not getting rid of Max Crosby. Exactly. We just gave Max Crosby bank. You need a second surgery.
Also,
and you're not getting it.
From the way that his teammates are talking, I can't imagine that he was the most fun to be around.
It's, I guess, but at the same time,
like, to me, this seems a lot like just getting someone out on top of that. Trying not to pay him.
It sounds more like one or two guys said that he was like difficult, and that was it. Like, I don't know. Like, you got to understand though, and I'm not comparing him to anybody that I'm even gonna think of or bring up, but that you could think of any player most of the time. Any player who you can find people who they enjoyed them being around.
Yeah.
Like even like Antonio Brown in the locker room. Like, people, not every single person was like, man, I could not stand being around Antonio Brown.
Sure.
Fuck it. Dude, the documentary's about Aaron Hernandez. They were like, man, it's like sometimes he was weird, but like, you know, it's like, but like sometimes he would like be funny, like
flip-flops.
But it's like there's players who, no matter how, I guess, bad they could be, and then see, that's the thing, when you really put it in perspective, it's like, okay, so he tried to kiss a dude on the head. It's like, I get it. There might be some dudes who are like, well, I don't play like that. Stop. I don't play like that, bro. Stop it. I could see that. I could see that happening.
Now, is this like a disrespectful kiss on the head? Like when you pat someone on the head?
Does it matter?
You little man?
Dude, but the same person to get offended by that seems like the same person who would be offended by you going to HR complaining about them. Like,
sure.
Like, I don't know. Going to HR just sounds absolutely. And I joked when I texted you like a fucking HR complaint. I was joking, and then when I read more about it, it was like, and then an HR complaint was filed. I was like, I didn't even think the Raiders had an HR. There's no way the Raiders have an HR. If they have an HR, they got a lot of answers to question, or a lot of questions. Goddamn, they got a lot of questions to answer if they got an HR. Yeah. They got a lot of answers to question because I don't know what the fuck's going on in Vegas.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. All they have to do is just pay him his money. Otherwise, I mean, now they got to go down with the story. Everything that they said has to be correct.
He was a weirdo. He kissed people. He see, and then there was clips of him come like.
You can't cut someone for. Maybe you can, but now they can't because they didn't. They already said that he voided the contract by not rehabbing correctly. They can't turn and flip now and say, "Oh, well, he was an HR mess." It's like that has nothing to do with it now.
But they came out and said that the rehab was handled correctly and he did everything the right way. It just he needs another surgery. So it's kind of like they had to say it was something. I mean, I don't know. The voiding the $35 million to me, that's them showing their hand. Like, no, we need this money. Like, we need it back. It's shit. Not like let's be real.
They don't need money. This is Mark Davis being cheap.
He didn't do that much to get $35 million guaranteed to him. He also didn't do that much to get it taken away from him.
Exactly.
Like, it's like, no. It's like, if you want to get rid of him and not want to pay him the rest of his money on his contract, that's not guaranteed. Sure. Let him walk. You want a different locker room environment, and that's gonna help change it. Okay, let him walk. But there's nothing he did that's like, and we're gonna need that $35 million that we get, like we guaranteed you on this contract that we signed.
Yeah.
Because I guess this is why it's like, no, this situation right here is gonna make so many more people think it's gonna be okay to sit out, force a trade, and not want to show up to camp, like all this type of shit. Which certain cases, certain scenarios, it might be okay, but like I'm saying, this is gonna be used as an example. Is like, see, teams will do you dirty, and teams will do you dirty, but at the same time, this isn't every situation, and players are gonna use this exact, like they're gonna use Christian Wilkins and go, I don't want to be Christian Wilkins. I want my money. I need it all now.
Yeah.
And I
Now,
don't know. It's
like, granted,
it's weird.
like, to the Raiders, like, this is like, this clause should be in contracts. Like, if you are not fit to play, you should not be guaranteed your money anymore. But if it's something separate and you're claiming it's this, this is just a huge clusterfuck. And all they have to do is pay him $35 million.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real.
I mean, it's also weird that he hasn't been picked up.
They have the money. Well, I mean, he's in the middle of like a dispute right now. I don't know if I think anywhere he goes, it would be a distraction.
Yeah.
But it says, yeah, because of how he treated the rehab because of how Wilkins has treated the rehab from his injury. But at the same time,
that was the initial
they said he did everything right. So what it sounds like is they wanted him to get a second surgery. He refused. So they said, okay, you didn't handle it correctly. But that's almost like, oh man, I don't want to bring up a terrible like comparison, but it's like, this is, I don't know. If he refused the initial surgery, no, I can't even say that. I can't even say that because there's most injuries that you can not, you can not get there's most injuries, a lot of injuries you can not get a surgery on. You can let it heal, and it may take more time or less time than
what about Burrow?
if you were to get. What about Burrow?
Like when Burrow had a hurt wrist or whatever, and I don't know who refused the surgery, but he didn't get surgery when he needed it. And then when the reports came out that his wrist was hurt, he got surgery immediately after that. But it was a few weeks before it was brought up.
But that turned into a scenario where the NFL were going to the NFL investigated Cincinnati as a whole.
Yeah, but what if Burrow had refused to get surgery, continued to play, and then they tried to void his contract?
I don't see, that's what I'm saying though. I don't think you can do that. You can't force, no matter what. It's like, look, and if it's a Nyheim Hines situation and you're on a jet ski, okay, that's one thing. It's in a contract.
The jet ski clause.
But we're talking, I would say not handling it correctly would be if you chose to not get a surgery, period, and say the timetable was, okay, let's say, okay, it's going to take you 10 months to be fully 100%. And it's 11 months and you're not even close.
Yeah.
And at 11 months, they're going, you still might need surgery. I could see where them being like, all right, you weren't handling this correctly.
Sure.
But if I get a surgery and I'm rehabbing and
I do everything right.
I almost want to pull up the quote, and I'm not going to, but there was a quote and I forgot exactly who. It might have even been Pete Carroll, but it's like, they said like, no, he's been at the facility. He's been rehabbing. I don't know what. So they're going to have to show some proof.
Yeah, no, like,
or something. Like, there's,
even when this came out before all the HR stuff, it's like, you really have to prove that he was purposefully ruining his rehab, which is difficult to prove because he's a 300-something pound man.
And he said, she said, involving guaranteed money. That money's going to Christian Wilkins. There's no way it's not. There's no way he doesn't get paid.
All they had to do was cut him and pay him. That's it. Trade him. All right. All they do is trade him.
I mean, they could. Well,
but if there really is a medical issue, they can't trade him.
But he wasn't worth that money. Even if he was healthy, I don't know if teams wanted him. He wasn't worth that money. Like, I mean, I understand them cutting him. They could
have done like a Russ situation. They just traded him to get him off his hands, and they still had to take the cap hit.
Look at it like this, and we're going to talk about it in a little bit, but they could have easily went, man, we need to make money. People like Terry are upset in Washington. We might be making some moves and need to pay somebody else. Like, we don't want him anymore. We don't need to pay him. And let's get that 35 back too. But I mean, I don't know. If Atlanta's still paying Kirk, give Christian Wilkins his goddamn money.
For real.
Give him his money. Speaking of money, Speaking of money being made, speaking of money being bet, it almost sounds like I'm going to like a DraftKings like ad, but I'm not. I'm going into a